Good morning from day one of round 5 of Data's Adventures on the Appalachian Trail 2025. This is me sitting out on the porch of my little cabin at the Hot Springs Spawn Resort. I'll be sitting here in a minute, have my breakfast. And guess this is good morning from Hot Springs, North Carolina.
So I've been hiking for a couple of hours. I've gone about 3.5 miles. I haven't shot very much video until now because it's been raining. Not real heavy, but heavily enough I couldn't really get the phone out. But I've come to the first viewpoint that's just south of Charlie's Bunyan, and today I have a better view than I had here when Mrs. Data and I hiked it 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it's interesting how Mother Nature and the weather play with you when you're hiking up on the AT. But yeah, at the moment it stops raining, it's actually a pretty nice day. It's probably low to mid 60s. Again, like I said, I've been out it for 2 hours now and gone 4 miles, or just about 4 miles, and it's been raining almost the entire time. And it'll sprinkle for a while, and then it'll rain harder and moderately hard, and then it'll sprinkle, and then like now it'll stop. So I thought I'd shoot a little bit of video. You can kind of see from the trail being a little bit of a river here that there's been a fair amount of water has come down today, but I think most of it really is runoff from before I hit trail. I did finally find a shuttle driver after the shuttle driver I had planned to use took ill. I hope he's doing okay, but I found a good driver. He's a former Triple Crowner, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But good morning. This is Data back on the Appalachian Trail here, saying, hey there, how y'all doing today? Hope your day is going as well as mine is. This is a viewpoint that is just north of Charlie's Bunyan. And taking a little standing break for a second. I just came across my first set of fellow hikers for the day. They're southbound section hikers, going to hike all the way through the park this week. And they're just right up there, actually. That's southbound. And so I'm going to stand for a minute and take a little break and enjoy this view a little bit. And also, while I'm sharing that view with you, I'm hiking in my umbrella today for the first time ever. And it's tied to my backpack by a little contraption that you can buy from them. And it's worked out really well. It's much better and much more comfortable than wearing a raincoat. I'm sweating, but it's not being trapped under the raincoat. So I have a pack cover on and the umbrella, and it hasn't rained hard. It hasn't rained so hard that I needed anything else other than that. So I'm going to leave the umbrella on for now. If it clears up enough that it's sunny and I don't get rained on for about half an hour or an hour, then I'll probably take it off again. So, but so far the umbrella, big success. So I'm 4.4 miles in, and it's about 12:15, so I'm still moving at about a mile and a half an hour, which is okay, given that a lot of it's still been uphill. I'm headed to Peck's Corner Shelter there at 6.2 miles, and I'm at a cross trail of the Dry Sluice Gap Trail. So a lot of trails crossing the Appalachian Trail here in the Smokies. And I think I'm going to take a little bit of a standing break here before I head this direction up the trail. I haven't had much of a break at all, but it's pretty much quit raining. I'm going to leave the umbrella up and have a snack and hydrate a little bit, and maybe take the pack off for a couple of minutes. Now I'm a little bit further along, and at this point the trail is literally walking you right along the ridge line. so that if I point the camera down right here, it's just a sheer drop off for several hundred feet. And if I were to do the same thing on the other side, you'd see the same drop off. So it's like I'm walking on a knife's edge. And I think one of those peaks off in the distance is Charlie's Bunyan. Just taking another little standing break because, again, I didn't get a lot of views last time I was up here, and I haven't seen these before, so this is pretty nice. Now I'm trying to get a shot with my new wide angle lens. Just clipped onto the phone. I'm getting some shadows because I have the phone case on still, but this is really just the first attempt to see how much of a difference it makes. So it's about 1 o'clock or 1:30. I'm about 6.4 miles in, and I have about 4.4 miles to go. And I finally found a rock I could sit down on for a little break. So I took my pad out and spent about 15 or 20 minutes sitting here stretching my legs a little bit, getting the weight off my back. You can tell I've taken the umbrella down and put it in an armrest. And now I've taken the pack cover off because the forecast is that it isn't going to rain for the rest of the day. I was able to get 2 bars on Verizon up here. And even though it's overcast and kind of foggy and smoky like the Smokies will get, it feels pretty good. So I'm not too worried about it now. I could always stop and throw the cover back on if I needed to. Having the cover on makes it harder to get water bottles in and out of the side pockets. And that was getting a little frustrating because after 6 miles I was needing to hydrate a little bit more than I had been able to easily while having the pack cover on the pack. So, and I'm having a pretty good day hiking so far. So the trail's been a little bit rocky and rooty, as you can see. This is the direction I just came from. But you know, it's not too steep. So even where the trail's been a little bit challenging over the last hour or so, it hasn't been technically difficult and steep at the same time. So I'm making pretty good time. I came across 2 other hikers now, so I've seen 4 southbound hikers, 2 pairs of gentlemen. I have a 1 small climb to go, probably 400 or 500 feet of ascent over the course of a mile or so, maybe a mile and a half, and then it's downhill into the shelter. So I should be there. Like I said, it's about 1:30. I'm probably going to make the shelter by 5 or 6, so that should give me time if I get there at 5 or 6 to hang up and dry out any of the clothing that got wet today while I was hiking. It's a nice quiet day on the trail. It's a lovely shade of green because the rain just fed all the moss on the trees and on the ground. There has been a lot of bear scat today, some of it fresh enough that it, you know, was left behind within the past couple of hours. So I'm on the lookout for bears, but other than scat, I haven't seen anything, and neither have the other 4 gentlemen that I came across. So I have about 2 miles left, maybe a little bit less than that now, to the shelter. And I've been making pretty good time. This is the first viewpoint that I've come to that wasn't completely socked in. And there's a little bit of view out there. Hasn't been raining or anything, but it's been pleasant. Hiking's good, trail's in really good shape. There are some fresh blowdowns in this area, but they're not across the trail. They're like root balls sticking up into the trail beside it from a tree that fell away from the trail. I ran into a couple of those that are probably as fresh as the last, I'm not say month or so. 3 or 4 of them actually. But I haven't had to crawl over or climb over anything. And I'm sure this part of the trail gets hiked a lot, so I've now crossed the pass with 5 other hikers. And the sunshine you see in the view right now is the first sunshine I've had all day of any amount to count for. And I'm not going to lie, it cheered me up a little bit. I only took one break today because not so much weather related, just I was feeling good hiking and there wasn't really any good place to stop. So this will be my summary video for my first day back on trail for round 5 of my attempt to hike the Appalachian Trail and a bunch of section hikes. Today was day 1. I hiked about 10.8 miles if you count the trip into Peck's Corner Shelter. So I went from Newfound Gap to Peck's Corner Shelter. It rained in the morning, but not real heavy, and I had that umbrella, which this is the first time I've used it. That worked out really well. I'm really happy that I have that umbrella. It allowed me to stay dry but not have to wear the raincoat because it was raining steady but not real heavy. So it quit raining partway through the day, and then it got sunny like it is now a little bit, and then it would get shady again, cloud over a little bit, but it never did rain again. It stayed cool, so I'm glad I brought my puffy and my 30-degree sleeping bag instead of my 50-degree quilt, because I'm probably going to feel it this evening. Highlight of the day really was that I met a really nice shuttle driver whose information I'll put in this video down in the bottom. His name's Nate. He's a triple crowner. He's been shuttling people in the area kind of around east of Ashland on the north side of the park and beyond, really, for the last 4 or 5 years, maybe 6. He's hiked the AT, through-hiked it twice, I think is what he said, and he's hiked the other 2 trails also. And he was just a wealth of information. I'm cold soaking my ramen with some chicken in it tonight. I'm getting ready to put everything back in the backpack and hang it up on the bear cable, since we're in the park and you have to do that, and there have been bears around there. I got here about 4:30. I've hung everything up to dry. It was already drying pretty well on me, so I'm hopeful that by tomorrow morning it'll be much drier. I strung a clothesline across the front of the shelter where I'll be sleeping. I got everything that I'm going to sleep in laid out in the corner up against the wall, and I don't know too much else. This was a pretty good day. I haven't had any kind of back strain, neck strain. My shoulder that was bugging me a little bit from the fall in the Shenandoahs didn't bother me too much today. I haven't had any significant amount of cramping or anything in my legs, and my plantar fasciitis in my right is acting up a little bit, but not too much, not any more than you would expect for almost 11 miles up in the mountains. So that's pretty good. And I don't know much else. Tomorrow I'm going to do a longer day. It's going to be about 13 miles. I'm going to head to Cosby Knob Shelter. It's going to be a lot of climbing early in the day, about like today. So 2,600 feet of ascending and 2,500 feet of descending is what I did today. Tomorrow I'll do 2,600 feet of ascending and about 3,600 feet of descending. Almost all of the ascending will be first thing in the morning tomorrow, in the first 6 miles or so, 6 or 7 miles. So the first, and some of these aren't as quite as high as Cahoe is, but nearly as high. So this is some of the highest altitude stuff on the south half of the Appalachian Trail. And I don't mind hiking at altitude. It doesn't seem to bother me too much, like I thought it might, but it hasn't so far. So that's all from me, from Data on the trail. And I hope y'all are having a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Data out.